local news that impacts you?
We've got you covered.
We're on your side.
On your side, this is News 12 First at 5.
Early voting season is here. Before you go cast your ballot, though, we're on your side with what changes to expect at the polls.
And there certainly will be some because of COVID. It won't look like this much longer in Aiken County schools come Monday. There will be double students in the classrooms.
Right, and we are hearing from Aiken County parents today after the district's decision to return elementary students to 4-day in-person learning starting Monday.
It is a very quick change. School leaders say middle and high schoolers will follow right behind them in 2 weeks with the plan for a full 5-day return for everyone by November. Our Nick Proto breaks down the details.
The decision to transition students into in-person learning has been met with mixed reactions. While some parents are saying it's about time, others are saying it's still too soon. The board announced last night a 3-phase plan for reintroducing students to the schools. In phase 1, which starts Monday, elementary students will go back to in-person learning 4 days a week. In phase 2, which starts October 26th, middle and high schoolers will go back 4 days a week. And on November 4th, the plan is to have all students in the district back to full 5 days a week. This won't include Aiken Innovate students who have to stick to virtual learning for the rest of the semester. Some parents say the school district did a great job with the hybrid model, and they think they should hold off on bringing everyone back.
And it worries me, especially having children with autoimmune problems, sickle cell trait, stuff like that. You know, I've had my child get hospitalized for something as simple as a upper respiratory infection. COVID's supposed to be 10 times worse than that. It's scary.
Coming up on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we'll hear from the school district about what went into this decision and how they're preparing for the change. Reporting in Aiken County, Nick Proto, on your side.
Time for a quick check of the weather now as we look over toward Walton Way and the medical district and check in with Chief Meteorologist Riley Hill. Warming out there today, Riley.
Definitely is, Richard. Feeling more like summertime than fall-like this afternoon, reaching highs close to 90 degrees here in Augusta. We're up to 88 on the thermometer, and that's one of the warmer spots. But down in Swainsboro, they're joining us. Same thing at Lake Thurman as well, sitting at 88 degrees. Generally sunny for the most part. There's a few stray clouds out there and kind of some haze and even some smoke. You may have noticed some smoky conditions out there earlier with some controlled burns going on. We're in the upper 80s once again, but the humidity is really that big difference out there today, back in the mid-60s for dew points. So actually talking about the heat index for October. Late tonight, we're expecting skies to be generally clear. Low temperatures not going to be too cool. We'll call it mild, near 60 degrees by tomorrow morning. And tonight, you can actually see the ISS once again. Let you know how you can see it and an update on Delta coming up.
All right, thanks for that. I want to talk about today Georgia State Patrol shutting down part of I-20. They were investigating a pileup that turned deadly. For about an hour, they shut down the eastbound side. It was 2 miles long in Columbia County near the Appling-Harlem exit. Troopers telling us they're looking into this deadly 10-car pileup that happened last week near mile marker 181. We got to ride alongside them as they investigated using digital cameras and even spray paint to map out the accident. Troopers explain how they investigate these kinds of accidents coming up in the next half hour.
And GSP tells us they're also investigating the crash that killed these 2 Fulton County deputies last week. Happened on the same day as that big pileup we just mentioned, just a few hours earlier. In fact, well, one of those officers, Deputy Anthony White, was laid to rest today in Atlanta at Mount Ephraim Baptist Church. You could see all the people lined up to get inside. Deputy Kenny Ingram had his funeral at the same church on Monday. 7 firearms stolen from a gun store in Hepzibah. The ATF says it happened back on September 22nd at 4 in the morning at the Coldfish Armory in Hepzibah. The feds say the suspect stole a vehicle from a used car lot, then used that vehicle to ram the doors to get inside. Once inside, they say the suspect stole at least 7 firearms. They're offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to an arrest.
We're learning a murder victim in Martinez had no connection to the 5 men accused in his death. Just this morning, we found out about 3 new arrests in the murder of Gage Reynolds. 19-year-old Briston Curry and 18-year-olds Montel Harling and Jalen Herring. Officers tell us all 5 suspects were breaking into cars on Valdez Drive when Reynolds encountered them. We've told you about the 2 other arrests, cousins Tyrese and Tyquan Rouse, who were arrested yesterday in Aiken County. Olivia Rouse, Tyrese's mother, was also arrested. They say she led deputies on a brief chase before her son was arrested.
We now have the mugshots of 2 men accused in the shooting death of a convenience store owner in Barnwell County. 19-year-old Shamar Donaldson, 23-year-old Jason Smith, facing murder, armed robbery, and weapons charges. The crime happened back on September the 8th at the corner stop on South Carolina Highway 3. The owner there, 60-year-old Andy Patel, lost his life.
Just into our newsroom, we're learning there will be a virtual news conference tomorrow for the city of Augusta. We're told it will be hosted by Augusta Mayor Hardy Davis, Richmond County Sheriff Richard Roundtree, and some officials from Fort Gordon as well. They're expected to give an update on COVID-19 and gun violence in the city. Again, that is happening tomorrow morning at 10:30. You can watch on YouTube. We'll have the link posted on our website. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp praising the state today for how it's handling COVID. He said both cases and hospitalizations are down more than 60% from the peak over the summer.
We've been able to keep businesses open. Most kids have been able to return to schools, and people have been able to go about their lives in a smart, responsible way. But that is only sustainable if we continue to do our part moving forward.
Both Governor Kemp and Department of Public Health commissioners urged Georgians to get their flu shots now. The pair warned of a twindemic possibly hitting Georgia, which is both COVID-19 and the flu season.
More than 40 people across Georgia and South Carolina facing federal charges for their roles in healthcare fraud schemes. Federal prosecutors say the first to have a full spectrum of fall color. That's what we can expect to see in the mountains this year. The science behind a beautiful view after a short break.
And Delta is no longer a major hurricane, but still expecting major impacts along the Gulf Coast. See how this storm could impact us.
We're all soldiers on our own, trying to find our way back home. So let's be bold and let's be brave. Came the sun, and now our hearts will beat. Now our hearts will beat as one.
The stage is set for a spectacular fall color season in the southern Appalachians, and it's all thanks to the lack of drought or extreme weather this summer.
Love that video. We can just let this roll for the next
I know.
couple of minutes, right? A forest ecologist and Dr. Don Hagan from Clemson University releases an annual fall foliage forecast. Our Mikhail Hannah-Harding sat down with him this afternoon to talk a little bit about how the weather impacts the colors we see.
I read in your research as well that you said that warmer temperatures could, it may not delay the peak of the fall season, but it could spread out that timeline. So could you kind of explain what you meant by that?
Yeah, so temperature, like we discussed, is one of those environmental cues that tells these plants that, it's time to go dormant. But, if temperatures are warm, and especially if it still is fairly moist, if it's not that dry, these plants don't have a lot of incentive to drop their leaves. They might as well stay active and keep those leaves. Whereas if it were cool and dry, those plants are going to tend to want to drop those leaves earlier.
Dr. Hagan says the first fall color we start to see is yellow, typically in September. Then the maples start turning their trademark oranges and reds as October begins. Gosh, it's beautiful.
Pretty spectacular up there. To the Gulf Coast now with Hurricane Delta expected to hit the coast by Friday. Saturday's football game between LSU and Missouri, that's been moved. It was supposed to be over at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. Now it's switching places. It'll be played in Columbia, Missouri, where the Tigers call home. Taking a live look there at radar, the live radar, Hurricane Delta's path there. And Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale's been tracking this for us. Riley, down to a Category 1, but you don't expect it to stay that way.
Exactly right, Richard. We did see the storm weaken a good bit from where it was this time yesterday. Well, keep in mind, it was a Cat 4, close to Cat 5 over this time this afternoon, or yesterday afternoon. Much weaker storm today. It's interacted with land, had to battle some wind shear. Not the best conditions for it the last 24 hours, but heading later into the forecast, the next 24 hours for the system, looking a little bit better for it. Expecting to hit some warm, deep ocean waters in the southern Gulf of Mexico, and not a lot of wind shear as well to help shred it apart. So the system is expected to actually expand in size and increase in intensity as well over the next 24, 36 hours. We're expecting landfall near the Gulf Coast sometime between Friday evening into early Saturday morning. So could possibly be an overnight landfall. Not the best situation. As it heads further inland, that's when we start to see impacts Saturday and Sunday. Not expecting wind from this system for our area, but we likely will see rain. Not expecting flooding rains, though. Most of that really heavy torrential rainfall going to stay closer towards the Gulf Coast, up the Mississippi River. For us, we're likely going to see less than an inch. Just not expecting a whole lot of rain. And this is backed up by multiple models I'm looking at in the long term. So we're seeing some pretty good model consistency out there, which is one of the things we really look at when forecasting for these tropical systems. So don't get too confused by these lines. It's just showing where the center of this storm is expected to be. These are called isobars, just lines of equal pressure. And we're looking at two different models. The fact that they're lined up very well, basically right on top of each other, that lets us know that we have a lot of good model consistency going on. And that's in the long term as well. They're lining up all the way through Friday into Saturday. So we have fairly high confidence on where the storm is going and the type of impacts it's going to bring. For us, for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, looking like some heavy rain's definitely going to be possible. Maybe even some thunderstorms on Sunday. I cannot rule out maybe even a low-end severe weather threat Sunday, just as that tropical system gets a little bit closer towards us. But beautiful weather this afternoon. Clear skies for the most part. Warm temps as well, getting close to 90 degrees. If you want to check out the space station later tonight, it starts at 7:50 p.m. It's going to be a little bit longer than the one last night, last 5 minutes, but this one's not going to be as high in the sky, so you want to make sure, get a good vantage point of that horizon. For your Friday, staying dry as well. That rain's really expected for the weekend. The next week looks like another fall cool down past Wednesday.
All right, thank you, Riley. Even though Halloween might look a little bit different this year, one tradition is staying the same. And this one's, well, it's for us, the moms and the dads. We'll explain after the break.
Vengeance.
All right, Batman fans, you're next when it comes to getting hit with that movie delay. The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson as the lead role, was set for release October 2021. Now it's being pushed back to March 4th of 2022. The reason we know is because of the pandemic's impact on the film industry. The Batman had to suspend filming shortly after resuming production after Pattinson got the coronavirus. He was cleared to return to the set, though, late last month.
All right. I like what they've done with the car, but I'm still an Adam West fan from all the way back. Well, if you have a Google email account, you can say goodbye to that iconic envelope logo. Gmail getting a whole revamp, and here's a look at the new logo. It's keeping an M for mail, but giving it a bit more color. Google also redesigning the icons for its Drive, calendar, and other tools in the weeks ahead. Get ready.
This next story is for anyone with a sweet tooth. McDonald's is adding new bakery items to its menu for the first time in nearly a decade. You'll soon be able to order a cinnamon roll, a blueberry muffin, or an apple fritter. Those will roll out October 28th, and they're not just for breakfast. You can order them all day long.
Oh, wow. Get that off the screen quickly. Parents, you know, Halloween is coming up soon. That means time to sneak some of that candy from the kids.
I know. We do it. We do. Okay, don't look so shocked. A lot of Halloween traditions will be different this year, but this one is going to stay put. A new poll from the National Confectioners Association shows nearly 80% of parents say they take candy from their kids after trick-or-treating. Richard, the other 20% are lying.
It's our job to look out for the kids, and some parents proven to be picky. 31% say they pick out their favorite candy and they stash it away for themselves. Can you even imagine?
Well, you know what? I'm upfront about it. I call it the parent tax. It's the parent tax.
Hand it over, kid.
Yeah, so I'm not like sneaking it.
Yeah.
She knows.
Off to bed now while we sort out your candy.
Make sure it's safe, right?
Right. Riley.
All right, you should be able to keep the sprinklers on the next couple of days, but by the weekend, no need for them. A lot of rain heading our way. Now look at that forecast coming up.
I want my...
The Braves are back at it today, taking on the Miami Marlins, Game 2 of the Division Series. Atlanta leading that series because they won Game 1 yesterday, 9-5.
And Game 2 just wrapping up with another Braves win, 2-0. The Braves looking good this season.
Love that. I might have to not watch them because I'm bad luck apparently when I do. So I will not watch the Braves until they clinch this thing.
All right, we're going to hold you to it.
That's my promise.
Yeah, there's a lot of superstitions about the Braves, so I think we should just move on. We don't want to upset anybody, but we are tracking Delta. This is expected to continue to strengthen the next few days and make landfall most likely Friday evening along the Louisiana Gulf Coast. We're not expecting rain in the CSRA from this system, most likely until we get to Saturday morning. That's going to continue throughout the day on Saturday, and then on Sunday, as the system gets a little bit closer, we're bringing in a thunderstorm risk. So the rain's expected for the weekend, but until then, looking dry.
All right, thank you, Riley. Coming up next, Georgia State Patrol shutting down parts of I-20. Troopers telling us they're looking into a deadly 10-car pileup that happened last week in Columbia County. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
When we say